The Stanley Cup and NBA final matchups are set, and people couldn't care less. Welcome to UnCoachable Episode 1. I'm your host, Alex Blau. The NBA Finals matchup is set, with the Oklahoma City Thunder set to square off against the Indiana Pacers, and everyone is just thrilled. This year's final is a lot like the new Avengers movie. Each cost about $1 billion to produce. People have already kinda lost interest, and then they announced who would actually be in it. And fans everywhere let out a collective sigh. Like when you finally pick a video after 45 minutes of scrubbing the hub and you just go, yeah, this'll do, but I'm not proud to be watching it. This final series has lost the big market appeal after the Pacers eliminated the New York Knicks in 6 games. And even though that series sounds only slightly less mind-numbing than listening to all 52 hours of The Count of Monte Cristo on audiobook narrated by Charles Barkley, people were tuning in. New York was turned up, Celtics fans were rage-watching, and everyone else was tuning in for Timothée Chalamet. That guy made a Jenner likable at an NBA game, which is real bizarre, because typically Kardashian types only show up to NBA games when collecting child support. Oh shit, maybe this guy really is Lisan Al-Gaib. Lisan Al-Gaib! It seems like the NBA may have learned something from the NFL's love affair with Taylor Swift, as they couldn't stop showing courtside celebrities. Kylie Jenner and Timmy Tim, Ben Stiller, Miles Teller, and so many more. So keep a close eye on the NBA Finals, where the camera will inevitably cut to Pat McAfee sitting next to 120 pounds of Arby's roast beef. This weekend also saw the end of the legendary show, the NBA on TNT, and everyone around the country shed a tear, except in San Antonio, where women took to the streets in such numbers, seismologists declared a Category 4 earthquake. There were only 10 of them. But that's what happens when you bottle up 2 decades of churro jokes. Eventually it explodes. Just like their waistbands. But have no fear. If Thunders v Pacers is too random of a matchup for you to be interested in, the Stanley Cup is also set. And the NHL isn't much for changing their formula. A team of stone-cold Russians versus a team from Florida. It's basically Rocky IV, but with less coherent Americans. And their lack of proficiency isn't from head trauma, but too much exposure to the toxic fumes of a South Florida strip club. This Stanley Cup is going to be an exact rematch of last year. The Edmonton Oilers, led by Connor McDavid, will square off against the reigning champ Florida Panthers. A team named after an animal whose biggest threat includes poachers, strip malls, and lightly trafficked interstates. Tough on ice, critically endangered in literally every other environment. Over the weekend, the UFC announced it would be moving its UFC Noche event from Guadalajara, Mexico, to San Antonio, Texas. Which feels a bit like honoring Juneteenth by hosting a block party at Robert E. Lee High School, which horrifyingly exists. Also in Texas, of course. Hell, let's complete the set with a Holocaust remembrance at Kanye's next Sunday service. And wow, yeah, those white robes make a lot more sense now. But you heard that right. The UFC is throwing a celebration of Mexican independence and culture in a place where locals still think they won the Alamo. And despite everything you hear and see in the news these days, this just emphasizes the fact that Americans love Mexico, as long as it's within driving distance of a Buc-ee's.
Honestly, I can't even believe you would look at me and the word gringo would even come to mind.
In international news, Paris Saint-Germain won their first Championship League trophy in club history. And it didn't take long for Midnight in Paris to turn into Mad Max with baguettes. 2 people were senselessly killed in the celebratory riots, meaning the city of love and the city of brotherly love now have something in common. Neither one reacts well to winning. Love clearly needs therapy, or at least a lorazepam and some alone time.
I don't even have my lorazepam. I'm gonna have to drink myself to sleep.
One storyline coming away from this championship is possibly the Mbappe curse. See, Kylian Mbappe rejected the chance to join Real Madrid and stayed with PSG back in 2022. Then, once Real Madrid won the 2024 UCL, Mbappe jumped on that bandwagon faster than a middle school teacher on the last week of school can throw on a Bill Nye and microdose in peace. But now Real Madrid was eliminated in the quarterfinals and PSG has finally found glory. Maybe he's not cursed. Maybe Mbappe is just the Bobby Althoff of soccer. Left a perfectly stable situation, and the second she does, a diss track drops, doubling as an affidavit, embarrassing everyone involved. In NFL news, offseason OTAs have officially kicked off. And while the New England Patriots seemed lost without head coach Bill Belichick, and maybe the other way around too, don't worry. They're already back on track with a new scandal. Forget Spygate, forget Deflategate. Welcome to Boogiegate. Newly acquired veteran wide receiver Stefon Diggs was videoed on a yacht with Cardi B, multiple women, and what appears to be a bag of pink powder. It was the debut of Hard Knocks, Barbies and Blow, directed by Greta Gerwig, produced by Martin Scorsese. And now sure, this won't strike fear into the heart of opposing defenses, but it should terrify every club douchebag trying to pull women with a baggie of sadness. Because if the Starburst black market taught us anything in the 3rd grade, it's that once pink comes out, nobody's trading for the basic flavors anymore. And finally, WWE superstar R-Truth announced he would be leaving the promotion. After 17 years in a fake sport pretending to be real, R-Truth got let go by a real company pretending to be fun. During his tenure, R-Truth held the 24/7 title 54 times, a wrestling record. That's more than Ric Flair, John Cena, and whoever tanked the DCEU and keeps rebooting the XFL. And now, today's uncoachable moment. Watch and learn absolutely nothing.
This is the Larry Bird Trophy. It goes to the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals. And that MVP is Pascal Siakam.
Thanks for watching the first episode of UnCoachable. Check back in tomorrow for more headlines, or check out some of the longer special episodes out now about the state of NIL 4 years in, the Luka Doncic trade, and the rise and fall of Hooters.